Listen to me closely, because what I'm about to say might just change the way you see the whole world. Some of you out there, you're wondering why you keep trying, and the finish line still looks 1,000 miles away. You're watching others seem to make it, snapping their fingers, smiling on their highlight reels, making it look easy. And deep down, a voice inside you whispers, maybe I'm just unlucky. Maybe I wasn't chosen. No. It's time you hear the truth. Success isn't about luck. It's not about fate smiling on the lucky few. It's rigged. It's engineered by people who know how the game is played, and sometimes who know how to manipulate the board itself. You have been told to work harder while others were taught to work smarter. You were told to stay humble while others were building connections behind closed doors. You have the heart, you have the fire, but now you need the strategy. Today, I'm not here to coddle you. I'm here to wake you up. If you want a seat at the table, if you want your name written in the sky, you're going to have to stop waiting for the system to bless you and start mastering the system yourself. You see, the first mistake people make is believing that the world operates on fairness. It doesn't, and it never has. Life isn't a playground, it's a battlefield. You might be sitting there asking yourself why you've done everything right. You worked hard, you stayed honest, you stayed loyal, but somehow you're still overlooked, still left behind. That's because somewhere along the way, you were taught to believe that goodness alone guarantees success. But let me tell you something. While you were busy playing fair, others were busy learning the hidden plays of the game. They were shaking hands behind closed doors, making deals you didn't even know existed. They were positioning themselves while you were praying for recognition. Listen, it's not your fault you were misled, but it is your responsibility to wake up now. Open your eyes. Realize the board has been set, the pieces have been moved, and if you want to win, you can't just play harder, you've got to play smarter. Now, some people, when they realize this truth, they get angry, they get bitter, they throw their hands up and say, well, if the game is rigged, why should I even bother? Don't you dare fall into that trap. That's exactly what the manipulators want. They want you disillusioned, defeated, doubting yourself. They want you walking off the field so they can claim the whole prize without a fight. Listen to me. Recognizing that life is rigged isn't a reason to give up. It's the reason to rise up. It's not about joining the cheaters or becoming someone you're not. It's about refusing to be naive anymore. It's about sharpening your mind, strengthening your spirit, and fighting with wisdom. If you stop now, you're handing them your destiny on a silver platter. If you keep pushing, if you learn their strategies and still move with honor, you'll beat them at their own game. But it starts with refusing to be a victim. Every empire you admire was built by someone who understood the terrain better than their competition. They didn't sit around waiting for opportunities to fall out of the sky. They created them. They learned where the doors were locked and figured out how to pick the locks or build new doors altogether. Sitting there, blaming the system, blaming the rich, blaming your background, it won't free you, it'll trap you. It'll keep you spinning in circles, making excuses while others make moves. The most dangerous thing you can ever believe is that your future is outside of your control. That is a lie from the pit. You have the power inside you to change the game when you change the way you see it. Instead of crying over the unfairness, start asking, what can I learn from this? How can I flip the script? Champions don't wait for perfect conditions. They make victories in the middle of the storm. You are not powerless. I don't care what your past looks like, what mistakes you've made, or how bad it's been. I don't care who underestimated you, who doubted you, who tried to write you off. None of that defines what you can still become. You have more power in your choices than you realize. But power without awareness is useless. And that's what they want. They want you to stay blind. They want you to stay distracted with shiny illusions, chasing after quick fixes and validation. But you're smarter than that. You've got a fire inside you that can't be faked. And when you wake up to the truth that this whole thing is rigged against you, not to destroy you, but to develop you, you'll realize that every obstacle, every setback, every unfair moment was training you to become unstoppable. Not bitter, better. The moment you stop expecting the world to be fair is the moment you start seeing it clearly. And when you see clearly, you can move strategically. Most people are too emotional to be strategic. They get hurt and they shut down. They get betrayed and they swear off trusting anyone again. They get overlooked and they label themselves unworthy. You can't move like that. You have to stay in the fight. even when it's dirty, even when you have to be able to separate your emotions from your mission. That doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop letting your feelings control your moves. You are a warrior, whether you feel like it or not. And warriors don't sit around waiting for fairness. They sharpen their weapons. They study the battlefield. They strike with wisdom and precision. You have the heart. Now it's time to develop the mind. You have to start moving like someone who knows it's rigged but refuses to be broken. That's a whole different kind of energy. That's quiet power. That's resilience. You walk into rooms knowing that people might count you out, but you count yourself in. You show up to opportunities knowing that the odds might be stacked against you, but you stack your faith higher. You stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself permission, no matter how much. Stood to you. You realize that no matter how many times they move the goalposts, you've got the stamina to keep playing until you win. They might close one door, but you'll knock on 100 more. They might ignore you today, but they won't be able to deny you forever. Because you weren't built to quit. You weren't built to bow down. You were built to overcome. When you recognize the rigging, you start playing chess instead of checkers. You start thinking 5 moves ahead. You stop reacting to everything emotionally and start responding with wisdom. You stop broadcasting your dreams to everyone and start protecting your vision. You stop arguing with people who don't matter and start focusing on the battles that do. You stop wasting energy proving yourself to small minds and start investing that energy into proving yourself to yourself. That's when the shift happens. That's when you go from feeling stuck to becoming dangerous, not because you're hurting others, but because you refuse to let anyone's manipulation steal your destiny anymore. You're not just playing the game, you're learning to master it. There will be moments when you're tempted to give in, moments when you'll see the manipulators winning temporarily, moments when you'll wonder if integrity is even worth it. But hear me, the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but to the one who endures until the end. Your persistence is your power. Your patience is your weapon. Your faith is your foundation. Every time you refuse to let bitterness take root, every time you choose strategy over victimhood, you are building a future that no manipulation can erase. You might not see the results today, tomorrow, or next month, but trust me, they're stacking up. And when the breakthrough comes, it will be unstoppable, undeniable, and absolutely worth every tear you cried in silence. They can rig the system, they can stack the odds, they can manipulate the scoreboard. But what they can't touch is the spirit of someone who refuses to quit. They can't break the soul of someone who knows their worth isn't determined by how others treat them. They can't steal the fire of someone who has decided to burn brighter, not bitter, through every betrayal and every closed door. That's you. That's who you are. Not a victim, not a pawn, but a king, a queen, a force of nature in the making. This world doesn't need more people complaining about how unfair it is. It needs more warriors willing to rise anyway. You were born for this fight. You were made for this battle, and the victory already has your name on it. If you refuse to back down. Success was never meant to be a solo journey. You can have all the talent, all the ambition, all the drive in the world, but if you're isolated, you will burn out before you ever break through. The truth is, life is a contact sport. You can't win by standing on the sidelines hoping somebody notices you. You've got to get in the arena. You've got to bump shoulders, shake hands, build alliance. You've got to connect with people who are running in the same direction, people who are climbing the same mountain, people who see your worth even when the world overlooks you. You need people who sharpen you, who challenge you, who call you higher. Because listen, no one builds an empire alone. No one makes it to the top by themselves. Every success story is a mosaic of relationships. Mentors, friends, partners, allies, each one playing a role. If you think you can do it all by yourself, pride is already robbing you. You don't need everybody, but you do need the right bodies. The problem is, too many people are trying to build alone because somewhere along the way they got hurt, betrayed, disappointed, so they said, forget it, I'll just do it myself. But isolation is a slow death. It feels safe, but it starves your soul. It keeps you small. It keeps you stuck because there are some doors that only open through connection, some opportunities that only appear through collaboration. You are one introduction away from a life-changing moment, but you'll miss it if you stay hidden. Yes, you have to be wise about who you trust. Yes, you have to guard your circle, but don't let fear rob you of your destiny. Build relationships strategically, not emotionally. Stop clinging to people out of loneliness and start connecting with people based on alignment. Find those who are walking in their purpose, who are hungry for growth, who are not intimidated by your potential, but inspired by it. Every champion you admire has mentors and allies you'll never see on stage. Every great name you know stood on shoulders you never heard of. So why do you think you have to do it alone? Why do you think asking for help makes you weak? It doesn't. It makes you wise. Strategic relationships are about more than networking. It's about recognizing that iron sharpens iron. It's about knowing that when you link arms with the right people, you multiply your strength, you multiply your reach, you multiply your impact. But you can't just take from people. You've got to bring value too. You've got to be someone worth connecting with. Be loyal, be dependable, be excellent. The right relationships are not built on convenience. They're built on contribution. Ask yourself daily, am I someone I would want to partner with? Am I someone I would bet on? Because before you can attract powerful allies, you have to be a powerful ally. You have to stop wasting time trying to force relationships with people who don't respect you. Stop chasing after people who tolerate you but don't celebrate you. If someone constantly leaves you questioning your worth, that's not your circle. That's your warning. Strategic relationships are built with mutual respect, not one-sided desperation. You should not have to beg for a seat at a table that God never meant for you to sit at. Let rejection redirect you to your real connections. Understand this, you are not for everybody, and everybody is not for you. And that's okay. Focus on building with those who recognize your value without you having to perform for it. Focus on aligning with people who call out the greatness in you, not the weakness in you. Because the right people won't compete with you, they'll complete you. They'll push you, they'll protect you. And together you'll go farther than you ever could alone. Sometimes your next level isn't about working harder, it's about connecting smarter. Your next breakthrough might not come from grinding more hours. It might come from one conversation, one collaboration, one open door that changes everything. That's why you've got to stay ready. You never know who's watching, you never know who's listening. Every room you walk into, you are planting seeds. Seeds of reputation, seeds of character, seeds of excellence. And when the harvest comes, it often comes through people. Someone you met 3 years ago might be the one who recommends you for an opportunity you've been praying for. Someone you helped selflessly might be the one who opens a door you couldn't reach alone. Strategic relationships are not just about climbing, they're about serving, about sowing goodness without expecting immediate returns, because what you sow in private, you will reap in public. That's a law no manipulation can undo. But don't mistake strategy for manipulation. Manipulation is selfish. Strategy is self-aware. When you build relationships strategically, it's not about using people. It's about aligning with people. It's about recognizing mutual value, mutual vision, mutual purpose. It's about rising together. It's about understanding that success is not a zero-sum game. Someone else's elevation doesn't threaten yours. It confirms that it's possible. Someone else's breakthrough doesn't block yours. It's a sign that you're in the right atmosphere. When you operate from abundance, you cheer for others even when it's not your turn yet, because you know that what's for you is still for you. Strategic relationships are built by people who know how to celebrate others without losing themselves, people who know how to collaborate without competing, people who understand that when you build others, you're also building yourself. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to leave comfort behind. Sometimes the right relationships will stretch you before they bless you. They'll call out your blind spots. They'll demand more from you than you're used to giving. They'll challenge your laziness, your excuses, your mediocrity. And at first, it might sting. It might bruise your pride. But it's a blessing. Because true connections aren't built on convenience. They're forged through growth. Find people who don't just tell you what you want to hear. Find people tell you what you need to hear. Find people who make you uncomfortable in all the right ways. Because comfort zones might feel safe, but they will suffocate your dreams. Strategic relationships are uncomfortable sometimes, but they are necessary for the kind of greatness you're destined for. You also have to recognize the seasons of relationships. Some connections are for a moment, some are for a mission, and some are for a lifetime. You have to have the wisdom to know the difference. Don't cling to seasonal people trying to make them permanent. Don't fight to keep connections that were only meant to teach you a lesson and send you forward. And don't take lifetime people for granted. Cherish them, invest in them, fight for them. Strategic relationships require maintenance. They require humility. They require forgiveness sometimes. Just like any valuable treasure, they require protection. Because the right relationship at the wrong time can still fall apart if you're not mature enough to handle it. Grow yourself so that when the right people show up, you're ready. Ready to partner, ready to build, ready to soar. In the end, building strategic relationships is not about gathering a crowd. It's about building a crew. It's about knowing that when life hits hard, and it will, you've got people who won't let you quit. People who remind you who you are when you forget. People who fight for you in rooms you're not even in. That kind of crew is worth more than gold. That kind of crew is rare, but it's real. It's possible. If you have the courage to seek it, the patience to build it, and the wisdom to protect it. You're not in this race alone. You're not supposed to be. Success is a contact sport, and if you want to win, you need to suit up, reach out, lock arms, and rise together. That's how legacies are built. That's how mountains are moved. That's how history is made. There's a game being played around you every single day, and most people don't even know it. They're busy following the obvious rules: show up on time, work hard, be nice. And they wonder why they're stuck, why they're overlooked, why someone else with half the talent keeps getting ahead. It's because the real game isn't taught in schools, it isn't written in handbooks, and it sure isn't explained out loud. The real game is built on unspoken rules, hidden curriculums of power. And if you don't learn them, you'll keep getting played by them. Life is not fair because life was never built on fair. It was built on favor, leverage, perception, influence. If you don't know how these things move, you will stay trapped in a cycle where effort alone never equals reward. You've got to open your eyes wider. You've got to study the room, study the system, study the way power truly flows, because talent alone won't save you. Good intentions alone won't crown you. The ones who win long term are the ones who read the invisible scripts and play chess while everyone else is playing checkers. The first unspoken rule is this: perception often matters more than reality. How people see you will often determine your opportunities more than who you really are. That doesn't mean you have to be fake. It means you have to be intentional. How you carry yourself, how you speak, how you respond under pressure. These are signals. Signals of strength. Signals of stability. People with power are always scanning for signals. They trust people who seem composed. They invest in people who seem competent. If you lose control, if you lose discipline, even once, it can stain you longer than you think. It's not fair, it's not kind, but it's real. You have to protect your reputation like your future depends on it, because it does. Every room you enter, every platform you stand on, you are leaving an invisible trail behind you. Make sure it's a trail that commands respect even when your name isn't in the room anymore. Another unspoken rule is that relationships are often more valuable than qualifications. You can have the degrees, the skills, the experience, but if the right people don't know you, if the right people don't trust you, you'll be overlooked. That's not just business, that's life. Doors open faster through trust than through talent. But trust isn't built overnight. It's built through consistency, character, and contribution over time. It's built when you show up when no one is watching. It's built when you solve problems without seeking applause. It's built when you honor your word even when it's inconvenient. Stop waiting to be discovered by strangers. Start building credibility with the people already around you. Influence is often quiet. It doesn't shout. It moves behind the scenes, and it moves for those who understand the power of relational equity. Some opportunities aren't advertised, they're whispered. Make sure you're the name people whisper with respect. A dangerous myth floating around is that the truth will always come out, or good things come to those who wait. In reality, the truth often needs advocates, and good things come to those who work and position themselves. Waiting passively has never been the currency of the powerful. You must be willing to advocate for yourself when necessary, not arrogantly, but assertively. You must know when to speak up, when to show up, when to remind the right people of the value you bring. Silence is noble when it's strategic, but silence can also be mistaken for irrelevance. The world rewards those who know how to make themselves visible without becoming obnoxious. Learn the timing of boldness. Learn the art of self-promotion without losing humility. Power respects presence. It respects courage. It respects those who refuse to let their work be buried under the noise of lesser things. Understand this too. Loyalty is transactional at high levels. It sounds cold, but it's the reality of powerful arenas. People are loyal to value, loyal to alignment, loyal to advantage. The moment you no longer bring value, you become optional. That's why you must always be growing, always be evolving. Never let a seat at someone else's table make you forget how to build your own. Never let an opportunity today make you complacent about your growth tomorrow. When you understand that loyalty has limits, you stop taking it personal when seasons shift. You stop feeling betrayed when alliances move. You understand it's not emotional, it's strategic. It's the game. And you stay ready to pivot, ready to recreate, ready to rebuild if necessary. That's not bitterness, that's wisdom. Move smart, stay valuable, stay versatile. Because the unspoken rule is you are never irreplaceable if you stop growing. The power structures you see around you are designed to sustain themselves. That's another hidden curriculum. Systems don't naturally dismantle themselves. They defend their own survival. People at the top aren't just fighting for success, they're fighting to stay successful. And sometimes they will gatekeep opportunities, guard information, and make the path look harder than it really is. That's why you can't be naive. You have to become a seeker of knowledge. You have to ask the right questions, observe the right patterns, and understand the unspoken fears that drive people's behavior. Sometimes it's not that you're not good enough. It's that your excellence threatens the comfort of those clinging to power. Sometimes it's not your failure holding you back. It's your potential making others nervous. Don't internalize their insecurity. Recognize it for what it is and keep pushing, keep elevating, keep learning how the game is actually played, not just how they tell you it's played. Another hidden curriculum is this: power respects results more than explanations. People in high places don't have time for long stories about why something didn't happen. They don't invest in excuses, they invest in execution. You want to gain influence? Deliver results consistently. Solve problems creatively. Exceed expectations quietly. Show up prepared. Finish what you start. It sounds simple, but it's rare, and that rarity creates value. In rooms of power, reliability is currency. Follow through is favor. If you say you're going to do it, no matter how small the task. If you commit, honor it, even when it costs you. That's how reputations are built. That's how silent promotions happen. That's how trust is earned. And trust, when earned, is what unlocks the next level. Be the person they know they can count on, and your name will travel farther than your feet ever could. You must also master the art of emotional control. That's an unspoken rule no one warns you about. The people who win long-term aren't the ones who feel the least. They're the ones who manage their emotions the best. You will be triggered. You will be tested. You will be tempted to react. But every reaction is a data point. People are always watching how you handle pressure, how you navigate offense, how you respond to injustice. If you explode, if you crumble, if you lash out publicly, you give people silent permission to write you off. Not because you weren't right, but because you weren't wise. There is power in restraint. There is dignity in discipline. Master the art of showing strength without shouting. Master the art of letting your moves speak louder than your emotions. Because emotional intelligence in the hidden curriculums of power is not optional, it's essential. Timing is another hidden force that separates the wise from the foolish. In life, it's not just what you do, it's when you do it. Move too soon and you sabotage the blessing. Move too late and you miss the opportunity. Success is often about sensing the rhythm of life, discerning the seasons of action versus waiting. Sometimes you need to press. Sometimes you need to pause. And knowing the difference comes from maturity, not impulse. Listen deeper. Watch closer. Trust your intuition, but temper it with strategy. There will be moments when patience is the greatest weapon. There will be moments when boldness is the only option. Either way, the unspoken rule is clear. Timing can make or break destiny. Learn to respect it. Learn to move with wisdom, not just willpower, because those who master timing don't just win. They win at the right time. And above all, never forget, in the hidden curriculums of power, your internal world will always shape your external success. If you carry bitterness, insecurity, or fear inside, no amount of strategy can hide it forever. It will leak out. It will sabotage you at critical moments. That's why real success isn't just about mastering external moves. It's about mastering yourself. Integrity isn't weakness, it's armor. Humility isn't passivity, it's power. You have to cultivate peace inside so you can move with clarity outside. You have to heal the wounds nobody sees so you don't bleed on the opportunities meant to bless you. The hidden game of power rewards those who are whole, not just hungry. So yes, learn the systems. Yes, learn the strategies. Yes, learn the moves. But never stop learning yourself, because when you master the unspoken rules and yourself, you become unstoppable. There's one thing you have to understand early if you want to survive in this world. If you don't own your story, somebody else will. And they will twist it, they will shrink it, they will turn it into something that fits their comfort, not your truth. Life will hand you labels, unfair rumors, misunderstood moments. And if you don't rise up and declare who you are, the world will decide for you. And the world doesn't care about being fair, it cares about perception. It cares about quick judgments. If you stay silent about your worth, your history, your vision, you become a blank canvas for people to paint their insecurities, their misunderstandings, their projections onto you. And the saddest part is, once they paint that picture, it's hard to erase. It's why you can't wait to be validated. You can't wait to be understood. You can't wait until everybody gets it. You have to tell your story, own your journey, speak your truth boldly, even if your voice shakes. Because the minute you take control of your own narrative, you start to live from power, not from apology. The way you frame your story determines how people treat you, how they value you, how they remember you. If you frame yourself as a victim, the world will pity you, but it will never empower you. If you frame yourself as a survivor, the world will respect your strength, even if they never understand your struggle. It's not about lying or pretending. It's about choosing the lens through which your life will be interpreted. Every scar, every setback, every failure you've endured, you get to decide if that becomes your shame or your strength. Nobody else. People will try to define you by your mistakes, by your lowest moments, by the season when you didn't know better, but you have the right, the authority to rise up and say, that's not where my story ends. You are the narrator, not the audience. Stop giving away the pen to people who were never meant to write your destiny. Hold it firm. Write every chapter yourself, no matter how messy, no matter how slow. Your life deserves to be told by the one living it. Understand this. Silence is not always noble. Sometimes silence is permission. Sometimes silence allows false narratives to grow like weeds. There's a time to be still, but there's also a time to stand up and speak. You don't have to explain yourself to everybody, but you owe it to yourself to not let lies have the final word. When people misunderstand you, misjudge you, misrepresent you, you have two choices. Be bitter, or being bitter traps you. Being bigger frees you. Step into your truth without defensiveness, without rage. Just state it, live it, own it. Let your consistency over time be your greatest rebuttal. You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to fight every rumor. But you do have to be willing to build such an unshakable life, such undeniable fruit, that the lies eventually look ridiculous. Truth has a sound. Truth has a weight. And when you control your narrative, the truth you walk in will silence more critics than your words ever could. People will try to shrink you to the version of you that made them comfortable. Maybe you were once unsure. Maybe you were once broken. Maybe you once needed them more than you do now. And now that you've grown, they don't know how to fit you into the small box they built in their minds. That's not your burden to carry. Growth will make you unrecognizable to people committed to your past. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be willing to outgrow people's memories of you. You have to be willing to disappoint the expectations of those who prefer you broken. Controlling your narrative means giving yourself permission to evolve publicly, to shed skins without apology, to walk into new seasons without dragging old stories. You don't owe anybody the version of you they first met. You owe yourself the freedom to keep becoming, without limits, without shame, without fear. Own your evolution. Own your expansion. Own the uncomfortable truth that not everyone will celebrate who you are becoming, and do it anyway. There's another side to controlling your narrative. You must be brutally honest with yourself first. You can't sell a lie and expect peace. You can't present an image and expect fulfillment. The truth has to start in the mirror. Controlling your story doesn't mean faking perfection. It means facing reality with courage. You have to own your flaws, own your failures, own your poor choices, not in shame, in strength. Because once you own it, nobody can weaponize it against you. Once you confess your own humanity, no whisper campaign can break you. Your vulnerability, your authenticity becomes your shield, not your weakness. People crave realness in a world full of masks. Be real, be raw, be responsible, and watch how even your broken pieces become building blocks of a story that inspires instead of imprisons. You don't have to have a perfect story to have a powerful one. You just have to have an honest one. Start there, stay there, and everything else will fall into place. Your story is also not just for you. Somebody out there is waiting to hear that they're not alone. Somebody is suffocating under shame you've already survived. Somebody is drowning in silence you've already broken free from. When you own your story, you become a lighthouse, not just a survivor. You become a living testimony that failure isn't final, that brokenness isn't permanent, that redemption is real. But if you hide, if you shrink, if you let shame seal your mouth, you rob the world of the hope your life could give. Your scars aren't liabilities. They are maps for someone else trying to find their way home. Every tear you thought was wasted, every night you thought would never end, it becomes fuel for someone else's fire when you dare to speak it out loud. Don't you ever underestimate the power of your authenticity. The story you're afraid to tell just might be the story someone else needs to survive. You have to recognize that branding isn't just for businesses, it's for individuals too. The way you present yourself, the way you show up, the story you choose to tell about yourself in public spaces, that's your brand. And if you don't brand yourself intentionally, life will brand you accidentally. Be strategic, be thoughtful, know what you stand for, know what you don't. Every post you make, every room you walk into, every interaction you have, they are building an image of you in people's minds. Make sure that image reflects your true values, your true mission, your true heart. Don't just live randomly and hope people get it. Define your message, define your voice, define your story, and live it so loudly, so consistently that even if your name comes up in rooms you've never entered, the truth about you will already be louder than any lie they try to tell. And hear me when I say this, controlling your narrative doesn't mean controlling people's opinions. You will never be able to make everybody love you. You will never be able to make everybody like you. And that's not the goal. The goal is clarity, not popularity. The goal is integrity, not approval. Some people will hear your truth and still choose to believe the worst. Let them. Some people will witness your growth and still whisper about your past. Let them. Your job is not to change every mind. Your job is to stay rooted in your own. When you are clear about who you are, when you are anchored in what you believe, you stop bleeding energy trying to convince those committed to misunderstanding you. You move differently. You breathe easier. You love deeper. You win bigger. Not because the world suddenly got fair, but because you finally got free. Lastly, understand that controlling your narrative is not a one-time decision. It's a daily commitment. Every day you will have to choose not to shrink, not to hide, not to hand over your story to fear, to critics, to shame. Every day you will have to remind yourself that your story has value, even when you feel unseen. Every day you will have to stand a little taller, speak a little louder, believe a little harder, because the truth is you are the author. You are the architect. You are the living proof that pain doesn't get the last word, perseverance does. You are the walking evidence that failure doesn't define destiny, faith does. So pick up that pen again, even when your hands shake. Pick up that dream again, even when your heart doubts. Pick up that vision again, even when your voice trembles. This is your life, your narrative, your legacy. Own it, protect it, speak it, and watch the world adjust to the sound of your unstoppable story. The system is built to make you quit. Understand that from the beginning. It's designed to frustrate you, to discourage you, to delay you long enough that you question if the dream was even real. Every hoop they make you jump through, every closed door, every silent rejection, it's not just personal, it's structural. It's meant to separate the half-committed from the fully determined. And that's why you have to make a decision early. I will outwork and outlast anything that tries to break me. You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the smartest in the room. But you better be the one who refuses to fold when everybody else is packing up and going home. Persistence isn't just a quality, it's your shield, it's your weapon. It's the silent answer to every doubt, every obstacle, every hater, every no. When they count you out, you keep showing up. When they overlook you, you keep producing. When they doubt your worth, you keep building. Because at the end of the day, the system can't defeat the one who simply refuses to quit. Most people don't fail because they weren't good enough. They fail because they got tired too soon. They gave themselves an invisible expiration date. They told themselves, if it doesn't happen by next year, I'll walk away. They gave their dreams a deadline instead of giving them a lifetime. You can't be one of those people. If you really want what you say you want, you have to make peace with delayed gratification. You have to be willing to work without applause, grind without recognition, sacrifice without immediate reward. That's where the separation happens. That's where the real ones are revealed. Anybody can hustle for a season. Anybody can push when it's trendy. But the ones who win, they are the ones who dig their heels in when the excitement wears off, when the results are slow, when the setbacks stack up. They stay in the fight when it stops being sexy. They stay planted when the storm hits. They don't quit because they made a decision long before the adversity came. I'm all in, no matter how long it takes. Understand this, the system is betting on your fatigue more than your failure. It doesn't need you to be defeated. It just needs you to be discouraged. If it can get you to sit down, it never had to push you down. That's why you've got to make quitting non-negotiable. Erase it from your vocabulary. Remove it as an option. Burn the boats. Burn the backup plans. Persistence isn't about pretending you don't feel tired. It's about feeling the fatigue, feeling the disappointment, feeling the doubt, and deciding to keep going anyway. Your dreams deserve that kind of loyalty. Your future demands that kind of stubbornness. You have to outstubborn the system. You have to be more committed to your destiny than the system is committed to your destruction. When you can look obstacles in the face and say, I'm still here, you start to become unstoppable. When the world realizes you're not leaving quietly, doors start cracking open that they swore you'd never see. You have to work with a patience most people will never understand. You have to be willing to show up over and over again without clapping for yourself, without needing anyone to clap for you. You have to build momentum silently, knowing that someday it will be too loud to ignore. Every early morning, every late night, every unseen hour of effort, it's not wasted. It's stacking up. It's compounding. It's preparing you for the moment when everything shifts in your favor. Most people want microwave success. They want overnight validation. They want instant rewards. But you have to be a slow cooker. You have to be willing to let your success simmer, to let it marinate in sacrifice and seasoning until the flavor of your victory is undeniable. There's a richness, a depth, a strength that only comes from long battles. Don't rush your breakthrough. Don't shortcut your story. Trust the slow burn. Trust the unseen grind. That's where real greatness is born. Let me tell you something most people won't. When you outwork and outlast, the system will eventually have no choice but to acknowledge you. They might resist at first. They might pretend not to see you. They might try to box you out, minimize you, dismiss you. But there's something undeniable about someone who just won't disappear. You become a force. You become a presence. You become a problem they can't. Consistency is louder than charisma. Persistence is more powerful than politics. They can block you for a season, but they can't block you forever. Talent can open a door, but relentless work kicks doors off hinges. Reputation can get you in the room, but resilience keeps you there when the room gets hostile. You have to be so consistent, so persistent, so undeniable that eventually even your enemies have to mention your name with respect. You don't get there by luck. You get there by showing up again and again and again until the walls can't hold you back any longer. You need to understand that persistence changes you in ways success never could. Every time you push past fatigue, you grow stronger. Every time you stay focused when it would be easier to give up, you build mental armor. Every time you keep going when the evidence says you should quit, you sharpen your spirit. Success isn't just about the results. It's about who you become while you're waiting for them. Persistence shapes your character. It deepens your gratitude. It refines your vision. It teaches you the difference between shallow ambition and unshakable purpose. The system wants to wear you down, but if you use every obstacle as a sharpening tool, You become too sharp to be dulled. You become too built to be broken. You don't just survive the system, you transcend it. And when you finally taste the fruit of your labor, it's sweeter because you know you didn't just stumble into it. You fought for it. You bled for it. You earned it. There's going to be seasons when nothing makes sense. Seasons where all your effort feels invisible. Times when the people who work less get promoted faster. When the ones who cut corners get the spotlight. When the road seems too long and the burden too heavy. In those seasons, you will be tempted to believe the lie that says persistence isn't worth it. That working harder doesn't matter. That doing the right thing is a fool's game. That's when you need to dig deeper, not shrink smaller. That's when you need to remind yourself, just because it's not happening on your timeline doesn't mean it's not happening. Roots grow underground long before fruit shows up above ground. What you don't see is often more important than what you do. Keep building, keep believing, keep showing up. Your consistency is building a foundation so strong that when the floodgates open, you'll be able to handle the weight of the blessing. There's going to be voices, some outside, some inside, telling you it's time to quit, whispering that you've done enough, that you should settle, that maybe this dream just wasn't meant for you. Recognize those voices for what they are, tests. Every big dreamer faces them. Every future champion wrestles with them. It's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're close. The hardest battles often come right before the biggest breakthroughs. You have to get stubborn in those moments. You have to get unreasonable about your persistence. You have to talk back to the fear, talk back to the doubt, talk back to the temptation to surrender. Tell it, I didn't come this far to only come this far. Tell it, I'm too invested to back out now. Tell it, I may bend, but I won't break. Because at the end of the day, the system only wins if you stop believing in yourself. Keep believing, keep breathing, keep building. When it's all said and done, the prize doesn't just go to the talented. It doesn't just go to the well-connected. It goes to the one who simply would not give up. The one who outworked the clock, outlasted the opposition, outlived the lies. You can be that person. You can be the proof that resilience is stronger than resistance. You can be the one who turns every no into fuel, every delay into training, every disappointment into determination. Persistence is not glamorous. It's not always inspirational. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's lonely. But it's undefeated. The system can't outlast a soul that's fully committed. Keep showing up. Keep swinging. Keep standing. One day they'll look around and realize the system didn't break you. The system built you because you refused to quit. And that right there is how you win. Let me leave you with this, my friend. Life isn't a straight road. It isn't a fair game. It's not about waiting for the perfect conditions or hoping the stars line up just right. Success is rigged, but not in a way that's meant to defeat you. It's rigged in favor of the ones who refuse to back down. It's built to reward the ones who see through the illusions, who recognize the traps, but still keep moving with purpose. You have to see the game for what it is without ever letting yourself become a victim to it. You can know it's stacked, you can know it's crooked, but you still rise up and say, I will not be stopped. The world will test you, people will test you, systems will test you, but they cannot destroy the one who understands the secret. Persistence breaks resistance. It's not about having everything handed to you. It's about becoming someone who cannot be denied. It's about showing up when you're tired, grinding when you're doubted, building when you feel unseen. Strategic relationships will lift you when you can't lift yourself. They will open doors that pure hustle never could. Success is a contact sport, and you cannot win it playing alone. Surround yourself with soldiers, not spectators. Align yourself with people who call out the best in you, not the ones who drain the life from you. You must also learn the unspoken rules, the real rules, the ones not found in any textbook, the rules written in invisible ink behind every closed-door meeting, the rules that determine who gets picked and who gets passed over. You have to pay attention. You have to be a student of the game while everybody else is just playing it. You don't rise by only knowing what's obvious. You rise by understanding what's hidden. Power has a curriculum. And if you're willing to learn it, no one can stop you from graduating into greatness. And through it all, never let anyone else write your story. The narrative belongs to you. Own your past, own your scars, own your victories. Own your struggles. If you don't, somebody else will, and they will paint you smaller than you are. They will shrink you down to fit their version of you. Control your voice, control your truth. Tell the world who you are before the world tries to tell you something you're not. Speak boldly. Walk loudly. Live proudly. You are more powerful than the labels they try to stick on you. When the dust settles, it will not be the quickest who win. It will not be the ones who started out in front. It will be the ones who kept going when others sat down. The ones who kept believing when others gave up. The system can build barriers, it can build walls, but it cannot build anything strong enough to outlast a determined heart. Outwork everybody. Outlast every obstacle. Outfaith every fear. Do not let temporary defeat convince you that the final victory isn't yours. Stay patient, stay dangerous, stay ready. Every setback is setting you up. Every delay is a divine appointment. Every no is clearing the path for the bigger yes you were meant to walk into. Trust the grind even when it's silent. Trust the growth even when it's slow. Trust the promise even when you can't see the proof. Because if you keep standing, if you keep pushing, if you keep fighting, there will come a moment when everything you prayed for, cried for, bled for, will break wide open before your very eyes. And when that day comes, you will know deep in your spirit it was never luck. It was never chance. It was the hand of God, the fire in your soul, and the refusal to be ordinary. So to you who are tired, keep going. To you who feel overlooked, stay ready. To you who wonder if it's worth it, it is. It always was. Your story isn't over. Your breakthrough isn't canceled. Your greatness isn't lost. It's right on the other side of your persistence. Don't you dare stop now. Don't you dare settle. This is your season to stand taller, fight harder, and love your calling deeper than ever before. Thank you for letting me speak into your life today. I pray strength over you. I pray clarity over you. I pray unshakable faith over you. May your hands never grow weary and your heart never lose hope. God bless you. Keep walking, keep believing, and I'll see you at the finish line.